What's up, family? Welcome back
So that's my
to another legendary top of the movie reaction video. Let's go, man.
idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street.
Whoa, bro. She said most men. He gonna give you the most men dictionary and go down the list of the shopping list of something that you want to say, since you want to say most men.
Are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
But I could say equally well that most rape victims are women. You know, terrible things happen to people of both sexes.
And you could say that with perfect utility, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated patriarchy. Well, it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do.
But there are almost...
Yeah, I'm laughing because, yo, she don't know what to say, bro. She only mentioned one thing, which is, he just said most crimes happen with men. So that crime surrounded around, you know, women being inappropriately done that way is, you know, but both genders, they're right. Both genders have been, there's good people and bad people, bro.
Well, it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do.
But there are almost no women who rape men, for example. So that is an asymmetry there in sexual violence.
Well, yes, there's an asymmetry in all sorts of places, but that doesn't mean that Western culture is a male-dominated patriarchy. The fact that there are asymmetries has nothing to do with your basic argument.
No, but you might equally...
This is a trope that people just accept. Western society is a male-dominated patriarchy. It's like, no, it's not. That's not true. And even if it has a patriarchal structure to some degree, the fundamental basis of that structure is not power, it's competence. That's why our society works. It's only when a structure degenerates into tyranny that the fundamental relationships between people become dependent on power. It's not power. If you hire a plumber who's likely to be male, it's not because there's roving bands of tyrannical plumbers forcing you to make that choice. And it's the case with almost every interaction that you have at the face of our culture. You're dealing with people who are offering a service of one form or another, who are usually part of the broad middle class, and what you're looking for is the person who can offer the best service, and you can find it. It's not a consequence of being dominated by anything that's tyrannical. And then again, our culture...
Dominated by anything that's tyrannical. So, there's no exercise of power in a cruel way. So, that's why I don't get what I get it, because it's like, she basically trying to make it like it's something cruel, like this cruel patriarchy, like system of government where it's the eldest, like men is always the head of, and it's not.
Western culture.
And I just had to look up, I always like to look up the definitions, even if I know, because I like to quote unquote it, family. So if you see me on my, that's what, you know.
Which is by no means perfect, and certainly has tyrannical elements like all cultures do, is the least tyrannical society that's ever been.
Because you have good people and bad people, so the tyrannical part, you can't fully be ignorant to it, but it's the least
being produced, and certainly the least tyrannical society that exists now. This whole patriarchy thing, I think you have no idea how pernicious and dangerous it is.
Well, no, I don't. I really don't. Go on.
Throughout history have fundamentally cooperated to push back against the absolute catastrophe of existence, a terrible death rate, the probability of chronic starvation, early death, disease, the difficulty of raising children, with all the death that was associated with that, and to look backwards in time and say, well, basically what happened was men took the upper hand and persecuted women in this tyrannical patriarchy. It's an absolutely dreadful misreading of history. It's a terrible thing to teach young women, and it's a horrible thing to inflict upon men.
Ooh, tell him. Like my man Jesse Lee say, amazing. Tell him, Jordan. That's my man, man. That's my man. My man, my brother from another mother. But if you're new to the channel, come join the family. Hit that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on. Comment down below any legendary top of the movie reaction videos you guys want to see. Give this video a big thumbs up, man. Helps crush that YouTube algorithm. It's totally free. And let the love supersede the hate, family. Peace.